Hi, I'm Donna Budakian. Thank you for joining me on my channel. A little bit about me again. I am the art teacher for Montessori Kids Academy here in Cumming, Georgia. And while the kiddos are at home, we've created this channel to have the opportunity to reach them to do some art for school. And also some friends and neighbors, if you want to join us, we're going to be doing some fun things with kids and possibly also some fun stuff for adults as well. So to address the friends at home, like my students, they have received an email, and today we're going to be painting either your choice, a horse or a unicorn, using acrylic paints. So you received an email and you should have a stencil if mom printed it or dad. Looks like that. I'm going to show you how we do that. So we're going to use a stencil. We're going to draw it onto a canvas panel. It's like this. It's a canvas board. You can get these on Amazon or any of your art stores. Walmart, any of those places, you can get these. You can also purchase a regular canvas which is stretched onto wood, okay? Sometimes we would also use a paper. We'd use a watercolor paper, looks like that, not today, but if you're interested in getting some for future use, this is a little, comes in tablet like this, we can do that. Today you're also going to need a paper plate as your palette. You're going to need a smaller and larger brush. You're going to need water, paper towel, don't forget the scissors to cut out our stencil, and you're going to use paint. If you choose to get paint through Walmart, I really prefer this apple barrel stuff just because the colors are much brighter, but really any of them will work. You can get it on Amazon, anything. If you want to add some sparkle, you can have some glitter and some glue, and those should be all of the things that we need for this. You're going to need paint for the background, so behind your unicorn, and paint for your unicorn for this particular project, so keep those in mind. As far as colors go. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down at the table and show you guys what you're going to do. Folks, if you are following along and you do not have a stencil with you, you're going to take your pencil and just draw an outline as best you can of a horse. Those of my families that do have a stencil, you're going to just cut it along the outside edge of where it was drawn for you, okay? These are the ears, so you want to kind of cut in between a little bit, but I'm only going to cut the outside edge of the stencil. Okay, I'm going to let that horn go right up to the top of the paper because we're probably going to make it longer once we add it to our canvas, because I think it'll look nicer if we go ahead and make it longer. Alright, so I'm going to cut all around the outside edge. Now, I had already stenciled this on, so let me just show you what I did. So you're going to actually place this to the bottom of your canvas and put the nose kind of over towards the edge there. And you're going to want to trace all around, okay? If you don't want to do a unicorn, you want it to be a horse, then I suggest as you're tracing all around the edge with a pencil, you just flip the horn or take it off either way and just draw a line right here, and then yours will become just a regular horse, okay? All right. So when that's done, we're going to go ahead and start our painting, okay? The first thing we're going to paint, actually on this, is going to be the background. So the area behind our unicorn is what we're going to paint first. We want that to dry so that we'll be able to paint the mane right over the background, okay? So in this case, I kind of want to do a purple background because, you know, all the kids already know Miss Donna's favorite color is purple. I like purple, and you can also never have too much sparkle. So we may be adding sparkle to this given our time frame. So parents, if you have not worked with acrylic paint before, it doesn't come off the clothes, so please make sure you put an apron on your kid or on your child. You might, an old t-shirt works, or just an apron if you have one, because it will go on the clothes if you don't and it doesn't come off. Okay? So the best way to do the background for a painting is you're going to take your paint on your brush. I'm going to use a bigger brush, and I'm going to go around the edge. Parents, if you want, if they need your help, you can do that. Go right around the edge. Okay? Of your unicorn. I'm going to go all, I'm going to make my horn a little longer, so I'm just going to go up higher. Go around the edge. Okay. Okay, so once that's done, you can go ahead and fill the rest of the canvas in. Now, I'm going to work a little bit quickly, just given the time restraint on my video. I don't think it's going to be too long of a video. But ask your kids at home, just take your time, do a nice job. Okay, you don't rush it because you don't want to try not to put paint back up into your unicorn, okay? But just fill all those areas in. Those kiddos that have worked with me a lot, you want to load your paint up on your brush, you know this, and you're going to go back and forth with your paintbrush. Remember that, back and forth, a nice long brush stroke, and that makes it look even and smooth and nice. I'm going to show you what it looks like if you don't have enough paint on your brush and you paint on it. If you only have a little paint on your brush and you do this, look at that choppy little brush stroke. That doesn't look very pretty, does it? So what you want to do is add more paint and do bigger brush strokes, just like that. Okay? And you're going to fill up all the background. Okay? So you're going to fill up all the background. So if you leave some comments, if you view the video and leave me some comments, if you have questions, I will answer your questions. I'll be happy to do that. If you are my students here at MKA, you can reach out to the school via email. They have my email address, and I will be happy to answer questions for you if you have any questions. Okay, so what we want to do is, you want that to start drying. At home, if at this point, you can do is take a break and let this dry for like 15-20 minutes and then come back. And that way when they're painting the next portion, it won't be dragging the paint all back and forth in the picture, okay? But for time purposes, I'm going to go ahead and start with mine just because I can paint it pretty much without bringing too much of that paint through, okay? All right, so always know that when you're going to move to another color, you want to make sure you wash your brushes off. And I've taught the kids how to do this before. If you're going to wash off your paintbrush, you don't just take it in there and swirl it around like that. That's not going to get the paint off. You want to actually hit the bottom of the cup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 times. Take it out and do that whole thing like 5 times. And that's going to make sure that all that paint comes off the brush so you don't mix up. And I'm not getting any paint on my paper towel when I do that. Okay. So I have to think about now, what color do I want my unicorn to be? And I think it might look really pretty if I put some gray on this next to my purple. Now, when you're painting yours, you can think about what color do I have in my bedrooms or wherever you think you might want to hang this in your house or put it in your house if you want to. Now, in order to mix gray, I think you guys remember, it's white with a little bit of black, and that's going to make a nice little gray. You don't want to put too much black because it'll be really dark, okay? Excuse me. So I'm going to take just a tiny bit of black and put it in the corner of my white. I know some of you that do the after-school art class with me especially know that that's how I'd rather you mix it, just taking little bits of paint, pulling it into the other color to mix it, because you don't want it to be too dark, okay? So now what I'm going to do, and let's show you this. Look at that. That looks like that might be too dark. So I can just take my brush and wash that off and grab some more paint where it's not so dark, some more white, and add it. And then just spread it around, and that way I'm lightening up my color quite a bit. Okay. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in my whole horse. Now, I will tell you, since this is gray, I'm going to go ahead and fill my horn of my unicorn in the same color, since it's not a real dark color, and then let that dry, and then I'll go over it with a nice brighter color and a more sparkly kind of color. Okay? All right. So those of you who are watching now, you know that I'm still working out of the studio here at school, but there might be some times coming up soon that I might do videos from my home studio. So kids will have the opportunity to see where it is Miss Donna works, other than the school, because some of them think I live at the school, but we all know that's not true. All right. So I've done the base coat now of my unicorn. If you look back at the stencil, you'll notice there's some extra lines that I drew so you guys would know where things go, okay? So I know that this is his head right here, and this is going to be the ears. They say he, but I think mine's going to be a she. So I want to make a little bit darker gray, okay? I'm going to put it right here where those kind of lines are, so I can see that that's my ear, okay? Some little lines. Parents, you might have to help my younger friends do this. But I'm going to turn my brush and use it kind of like a pencil, okay? Now, this is where the mouth is going to be. And I know she's got a cheek. So I'm going to put a little line right there for the cheek. And then I'm going to add some darker stuff right here. Okay. All right, so now it's starting to take shape. You can kind of see, oh, that's going to be a horse or a unicorn, okay? All right. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some more things to this picture. Now, if I were you and I were at home, you would have left the background to dry and then did this part. And then at that point, I would say step away and let it dry again. Because what happens next is you're going to be putting the mane on, the eyes on, and all that kind of stuff. Now, again, for time purposes, I'm just using this to dry this a little bit, but I'm going to keep going and paint this so you can see what it's going to look like at a quicker rate. But you should be taking a little more time with yours to make it come out nicely. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, let me see, I want to make it look like this is a girl unicorn, and I think she should have a little bit of a cheek. Well, how am I going to make her have a little cheek color? It's going to have a little pink. I have some white on my plate already, and I just put some red on there. So if I take the white, well, it's a little gray, but that's okay. It's going to go on a gray face. And then mix it in here. Okay, I'm going to put it on here like this, just a little bit of paint. Then if I put my finger in just the tiniest bit of water, I can rub it right on her cheek, like that. And just give her a soft pink, pretty cheek. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking she might look cute if she had some pink inside of her ears. This ear is behind her head, okay? And this ear is in the front. So I'm going to put a little teeny bit of pink just like that, okay? What else does she need? I think she needs a nose. So over here, this would be like the nose, and put a little line right there. Show the nose. Okay, and I want her to have a little bit more of a smile because I think she's happy. We don't want her to be unhappy, right? And then we're going to put her eyes. So I'm going to put, so her other side of her head is over there where you can't see it, but you might see her eyelashes over there. So how about we put her other eye right there. And if you're trying to do that, friends, it's like it's a slight half circle, not totally half circle. And then some lines, you pull them down, makes little eyelashes, just like that. Okay? Okay, I'm going to put a little bit darker here where this horn is going to be. Okay? Excuse me. Now, I wanted to have a mane, and let me see. I think she should have white in her mane, and I think she should have pink in her mane. So I'm going to put a little bit more white on the paper plate over here. And I'm going to get my bigger brush again. Okay? And I'm going to pull some hair where I want her mane to be. Now, I'm going to remind you, my painting is wet. And hopefully you follow directions and let your paint dry before you go ahead and try to do the mane and the eyes and all of those things that you just saw me do. Because otherwise, yours might turn real muddy. We've talked about this a lot of times at school. We don't want to turn out to be a muddy mess. We want moms and dads to like the work that we do, so we should take our time. But because mine is still a little wet, it's pulling some of my background color in the mane. But I actually thought it would do that, and I thought, truthfully, it might be kind of pretty if it had just a little bit of that lavender, which is light purple, right? Mixed in with it. So I'm going to just use mine to my advantage and let that kind of show through like that. Okay. And remember, if you're doing a horse and not a unicorn, you would just not have a horn, see? And that would be a unicorn. So you could put more of the mane over here, okay, and have it flow either way. And you can choose any colors you want. You could have a blue background and a black horse, or a brown and white horse, or whatever really you want. It's totally up to you, okay? So be creative and have fun with that. So I think I also said I wanted a little bit of pink in her mane. So I washed my brush. I'm going to grab a little pink and put that in the mane too. Okay? All right. Now, I've decided that I wanted my horn to be sparkly. So I'm just going to put some glitter on here. But if you didn't want glitter or don't have glitter, that's okay. Go ahead and pick a color that you might like here. You might have silver color paint or a gold color paint or yellow or whatever that you like for your horn. But I am just going to put sparkle in mine because you could never have too much sparkle. But don't worry, parents. So what I'm going to do is show you how to put the sparkle on without making a huge mess, hopefully. Okay, so I want my horn to have some sparkle, so I'm going to add silver sparkle to that. But I have this really pretty bright pink sparkle, and I want to add it to the mane. So I've added a little bit of glue to my horn, and now I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to put little bits of glue where I want the glitter to stick on my mane. But I will tell you, it might just stick to some of the mane itself because mine is wet. Again, yours should be dry when you add anything like the color of the horn. When you add the mane, that should let that dry, and then you go ahead and add the glue. So I'm going to walk over to the garbage over here because I'm going to show you that if you're using glitter at home, parents would be much happier if you use the glitter over the garbage can and not on the table. So I'm going to just lay my unicorn on the garbage, and I'm going to sprinkle my glitter. Okay. Okay. So that being said, you're over the garbage, you've sprinkled the glitter that you want, and then what you do is tap it on the garbage, the extra glitter goes in the garbage, okay? Now that's where I put my glue. So if I want to add any more sparkle to this, I'm going to have to add a little bit more glue. So I'll worry about that in a little bit if I want to do that. What I'm going to do now is add the pink glitter to the area that I want to have the pink sparkle. And remember, I did tell you my other paint's wet. It might stick to other places, so we're just going to hope for the best here, okay? But you can never have too much sparkle, so that's all right. All right, so, yeah, just as I had thought. So, my mane is still wet, so I've got a lot of sparkle, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just throw a little more paint in there, and we'll see what we can do to fix that up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to walk back over here to the table. Now, friends, you can also use things like little table easels. I don't have one here at school studio to show you right now, but I do have them in my home studio, so I may be showing you some of those at another time. But that's a lot easier to maybe paint on if it's up like this. But some of my little